This is the first project. We're going to prepare it first. So we add some warm water, hot water or tap water, whichever it is, into a cup, or half full, half filled. And then you put your toothbrush in there. We will need it for later. So we're going to put it away for right now. Then I come to the second, which is actually the paper making. So for paper making, we're going to add 1 liter of water. Can be normal temperature or can be warm water too. I'm using warm. So it's about 2/3 filled. Next, I'll add in this pack over here that you get. Pour all of it in here. And then you gotta mix it up. Loosen it up as much as possible. You can use your fingers. If you want to save time and stuff, you can use a blender. Pour them all in and then blend them. Which also means you can recycle your normal paper at home by blending them. And then you do the same thing. You can use newspaper, normal paper. Just make sure you tear them in smaller pieces before you actually put them into the blender. And in the olden times, what do they use to write onto? They use things like bones and the bottom shell part of the turtle or tortoise. This is the bottom of it, the body that protects the body. You can see they carve it onto it. They don't really write. They either carve it on or they burn it on. And some of them have done this before. They figure out they can use bamboo as well to write on bamboo, and all on cloth. They weave cloth to write on it or paint on it. And they figure out later on that paper making is better. It's easier, it's more affordable, and can be done as like a mass production. In this picture, you can see there are people who try to take out the bark and then remove the inside of it. There are people who fetch the water. There are people who try to mash it up by stepping on it. And sometimes they use hammers too. And over there, they're boiling it also to soften it. There are more of them. And here, they're doing the puree. You can see that. They're actually trying to mix them inside with water. And this is the last step where they actually try to sieve it into pieces of paper, which we are doing today. So this is what we're doing today. Just the last step. The rest are done for us already. These are the things we have. The tray, we've already filled it with about 2/3 fill of water, which is about 1 liter. Yeah, you have 2 leaves, 2 different leaves you can use to decorate later. You can also add in things like something sparkling like sparkles or anything, colors. You can add things which is colored, colored paper. You can add in food dye to change the color of it. You can dye the entire water, or you can just dye on top of the paper later when you're done. So now we've done the paper and the water in there. We're trying to get it spread out nicely first. Then we're going to sieve it out later. So I'm going to continue now. So you can see we're still waiting, we're still trying to spread it out. The leaves, you can use it later because that's very big. So it's a deco piece. But if you have other decoration stuff that's flat, you can put it inside. You can put in dry flowers too. Small little dry flowers, something that is flat. If not, they'll turn out not look 3D. So for me, I'm going to add some. This is from your own. You can make your own. You can get from the florist. I'm going to add some of mine. So these are the 2 leaves you've received. One reddish and one green. I'm going to use the green for later. So I'm will keep the red one away. And we have our mesh. Our mesh here, you can use either side, but I'm going to use the side that is deeper. It's deeper here than on the opposite side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to scoop some of the paper on it. So if you want the paper to be more fine, you will have to make sure you stretch them better. I'm going to put my leaf in. You can face it upwards or downwards. It depends on how you want it to face. I'm going to put it facing down for mine. So I'd remove this part of it. So it'll be clearer on the other side. There you go. Mix them again and then pour it back. So I'm almost done here. So you can find some coloring. I have coloring here. I'm just going to add color for fun. Not that I need it. For fun. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it into some water and pour over it. Just one drop. Red. I'm going to color the top part a bit red. Okay, let me get some more water. Okay. There you go. See? Now the top part is reddish. If you want the whole paper to be one color, you can simply just color the whole water base. If you only want it to be at a certain area, then you can just pour in the dye at a certain place. You can even use more different colors to create a rainbow color. That will work too. So we're going to leave it to dry. You can press it down a little bit. or you can leave it by the window. As remember, if you're using colors, you will need to wash your spoon before you press on the white area. I'm trying to fill up the little gaps in between. I saw some gaps here. And press it down. Okay. And what I can also do is I can take a cloth. I can take a cloth to press it down. And absorb some water first so it dries even faster. But if you're using color like it is, be careful. Maybe switch place and to flatten it at the same time. Be careful, don't pull out the entire thing. The sides will come off. I'm just trying to show you faster, so I'm going to do this, but you can just leave it by the window to let it dry up. Okay? And I'm going to show you how it looks like later. Okay, when it's done, it will look like this. See? So this is what we did earlier. So it looks like this. And when I flip it out, look, it looks like this. There you go. So you can see the paper is holding on to the leaves and binding them together with the ones at the back, so it will not fall out. Yeah. So it looks like this for now, but it will change later. I'm going to show you how it looks later. I'm going to show you how it looks when I flip it over. But let me put this back to dry a little bit. Yeah. Put it back to dry a little bit more. And then let me see if it's dry enough to show you the front. Okay. You can see the front. It looks like this. Pretty, isn't it? It looks better later on after it dries and I can take it out. So I'm going to do this really quickly by drying it even more so I can remove it for you to see. Okay, so I'm quickening the process so you can see. Okay, let's see if we can remove this. Yeah, give it a blow and it came out. There you go. So you can see it looks very pretty. I didn't put too much red. So it looks like this when it's done. But right now, I'm going to put it back. You can put it out like this, but I prefer to put it back. Oops, for it to dry. So if you take it out for fun, like me, you have to be careful when you put it back. So you're coming back to this. What you need to do is, okay, before I show you, let me show you something first. So you can see, yeah, in the olden days, now some of them uses this as a toothbrush. Yeah, toothbrush tree. So it's from this tree here. I think it's pronounced as Salvadora persica tree. It's an evergreen tree found throughout the Middle East and Africa. So it's more popular in Asia. Okay, let me continue sharing more. Page 1. And here you can see that these are the frequently asked questions like, do I have to peel the outer layer? Yes, that is what we're going to do in a while. And then how often? I'll leave it for you to read for a while. So the basic we want to look at is whether we need to peel it. Do I need to cut the tip off? You cut off whenever you feel you need to. And when it starts drying up. So expiry date, if you keep properly, then it doesn't really expire. Can be different length as usual. And you can see you do not need toothpaste or water to use it. But I have to say that the smell is not pleasant to some of us. Some of us in the class just now figure out that no, we are not very, very used to the smell. So to us, it kind of smell quite bad. But I guess during the olden times, people are so used to using what is best for them instead of what smells the best. These days, in the modern days, we have more choices. Now, over here. So see, some people say that it has a fresh gingery taste. Some people just don't like the taste, so it doesn't taste very nice or smell very nice. You can flavor it by actually soaking them with, soaking them, and then you can experiment with mint, cinnamon, and lime infused. So it all infused, you gotta soak them in water that has those flavoring in, and then dry it up. Yeah, and it's also biodegradable over here. You can see that. So some people say it's better than the toothbrush. Some people doesn't like the taste, so it doesn't work any better. You can see over here, it has fluorine, silicone, vitamin C, salvadorin, and okay, I'm really bad at this. Trimethylalanin. Yeah, okay, Colin's going to try this word. Can you try this word, Colin?
Which one?
The one over here down here.
Trimethylalanin. Methylalanin. Trimethylalanin.
Okay, that's what he feels it is. He's better than me, I think. It contains it also contains potassium, sodium chloride, sodium carbonate, and calcium oxidase. So the last one we're going to take a look is this one. How are we going to do this? So what we're going to do is we've soaked it already, so it's softer. Now we're going to cut off just about 1 inch or 1 cm is fine. Then later on, you will have to chew off the back or press on it until it gets separated. Yeah, it will look like this. So every time before you use, you got to actually soak it and soften it, moist it first, soften it before you use it. If not, it will hurt your gums. And brushing it, you can go in circular motion, you can go in horizontal, vertical, as long as you get in between those teeth gaps here and around the gums area, and that will work. But don't brush too hard, okay? Gently will do. So now I'm going to take a look at how to remove the layer. So after soaking, this part will be softer. You can take a scissors, about 1 cm or you can 1 inch, whichever way you like. Press on it, you can feel it's quite soft. Just score it right around it. Just like how about you do with wires. Then draw a line through the middle. And now you can use your finger to peel it off. You see that? You can peel it off. So you're peeling off the bark, which we don't use. The toothbrush part is just in the inside. So after removing it, you will have this part left. So they're quite hard, you can see. Okay. So what you can do is you can either press on them, you can bite them or press on them. I'm using scissors in between of it to press on it to soften it. And you can see the difference in a while. It's interesting and amazing how it actually is like, because it's not like our usual tree trunk or branches or roots, you see. There, I've softened this part now. So you can see that. Look how it became, how it comes this way. It's now just little string, just like our bristles for our toothbrush. So if you bite on it more, you will separate them even better. Okay. And then from there, you can bite on it. Okay, this one I cut a bit too far in. So you can just brush against your teeth like this, just on the teeth itself and slightly inside the little corners, so you can reach and remove it like this. So if your teeth are together side by side like that, you just brush them around it and in between it, and slightly on the gums area. Okay, so that's easy. But yeah, the smell is something you need to get used to. If you're not used to smell, it smells horrible. If you're okay and get used to the smell, it's good because it's natural. Except it's not natural in Singapore. So you still have to buy them in the end. So last one, we're going to do the jelly. So I have my pot. There we go. And I have, oh, I need the juice. Then can I have a juice? The mango one, perhaps? You like the mango one, right? You like the mango one, right? No, just mango. To dilute it, you can bring me a bit of warm water. So you need about, okay, let me take the other one. Just put about 125, okay? 125. 125 of it. Okay, and I'm adding a bit of water because my mango juice is very thick. So 125, that's about half a cup. Ah, I can see there. It's about half a cup. About half a cup, 125, and I pour it into my saucepan. I'm going to turn it on. There you go. So what you need to do is you need to boil it, add some sugar. You can add about a teaspoon of sugar if you like. You can taste it. If you don't, you want it, then it's good to be slightly sweeter. If not, it doesn't taste nice at all. So I'm going to add a block of sugar in there to melt that. You can add about 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. It's up to you. But what we do know after testing it so many times is if we do not have enough sugar in there, it is not going to taste good. Because when you finish making it, the gummies are so small. If it's not sweet enough, it tastes bland. So while I wait for it to dissolve, adjusting this a little bit. There we go. I'm going to bring over my tray. And with the tray, we also need something flat. So we can move it into the kitchen, into the fridge easily. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to just use a book. There we go. I'm going to use a book instead. I'm still trying to do this. And in your pack of items here, you will find a bigger spoon and a smaller spoon. You can put up to about 1 big spoonful of 1 flat spoonful if you're using the Konnyaku jelly, KJP. If you're using AA, which is agar-agar, you can use about 1 big and 1 small flat spoon of it. For right now, for younger children, it's easier for them to use agar-agar powder just because it takes slightly a bit longer time for it to harden than a Konnyaku jelly. But because Colin likes the texture for the Konnyaku, so I'm going to use the Konnyaku instead. First, I need to make sure it melts. And for Konnyaku, because when it starts gelling up, it's really, really fast. So I have to make sure I don't use too much of it as well. Okay, so I'm going to scoop 1 flat serving of it. I'm going to turn it off for a while because I only have 2 temperatures on my cooker for this one. So I'm taking out 1 flat spoon. I'm going to add it very slowly. If not, there'll be lumps, and you have to make sure that everything's dissolved in there. I'm trying to make sure that there's no big lumps of undissolved powder in there. So what you do realize is that the last time when we did our jelly, our proportion of water and jelly powder are quite large, are quite far apart. It's almost 1 liter of water to 1 pack of about 12 mg to 10 mg of powder. But today we're actually putting lesser liquid in this one. So the texture will be even more different. If you're using agar-agar, it'll be crunchy. If you're using the Konnyaku jelly, it'll be more springy and more chewy. You can see it's actually stiffening up already. It's getting thicker and thicker. Need to turn it on again for mine. Removing all the powders, the lumps of powders in there. Same reminder again, if you want to start out easy, just use agar-agar powder. They are so much easier to handle. But if an adult is doing this and you like the chewy texture, the konnyaku jelly powder, it'll be nicer. Earlier during class, we were using agar-agar powder that was a lot easier to dissolve. Now I'm using konnyaku because I already have a batch of agar-agar. And I'll show you the difference in a while too. It's getting so thick, I think I should add some water. Because there's evaporation as well. And mix it well now. Turn on the heat slightly, a bit more, because I still have some lumps here and there. But yet I don't want to spill on me, and splash on me. It's going to be very hot because it's very thick. Turn it down again. The easier juice to use will be things like apple juice, something that's more watery, because I'm using mango juice right now and it's thick to start with. With the additional sugar and stuff, it gets thicker. And as well as using konnyaku jelly powder. Okay, I think it's almost ready. And it is, like I told you earlier, for me to use konnyaku, I need to be very quick in gathering what I need. So you take your dropper, suck up some, and very quickly put it in. Inject them in there. Agar-agar will actually harden slightly slower, still very quick, but slightly slower. Because you can see this ones here are already beginning to harden. And I have to be careful that it doesn't harden inside the dropper. So they actually hardens really, really quickly. These are the ones we did earlier and yesterday. I did this yesterday. I did this earlier in the class. This one is made from agar-agar. So if I press onto it, you can see it meshed up easily. We can mesh up easily like this. Whereas if I take the ones that is done from konnyaku jelly and I press on it, it's harder to press it. And then when you press it up, it breaks a bit, no, lesser. Yeah, I'm gonna put this away, throw it away. So you can see this already. Look at that, how fast it is. So there you go. So you can take them out and then you can put in the fridge. Or you can just put the whole entire thing in a tray in the fridge first, cool it off immediately, then you take it out. But I have to tell you that it tastes better when you finish cooling it off. When it's cooler, it tastes better. In texture and in flavor too. Yeah. So remember, don't put too little sugar. Have it a bit sweeter is fine because it's smaller dosage. Okay, so we are done for everything today. So remember, if you need any help, message me on my WhatsApp